Wait. Quick question. How much did you spend on veggies last month? I used to burn through more than $300 without even noticing. Bagged salad, tiny tubs of tomatoes, herbs that wilt in 2 days. It felt normal until I checked my bank app after tossing another slimy bag of spinach. That was the snap. I'm done paying top dollar for the weakest part of my meals. I'm done hauling home greens that go bad before dinner. I wanted fresh, I wanted cheap, and I wanted it now. So I tried something simple. I grew it, not a huge farm, not a raised bed palace, just a small patio and a sunny balcony. 3 buckets, 1 long planter, 1 bag of soil, a few seed packets. That was the whole kit. No fancy gear, no secret fertilizer, no green thumb badge. If you've ever kept a houseplant alive for 2 weeks, you're already qualified. Here's why this works. The stuff we buy over and over, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, green onions, basil, cilantro, costs a lot because it's fragile. Stores charge a premium. You pay for plastic boxes, long truck rides, and food that was picked before it was ready. Then, you rush to eat it before it turns mushy. It's a losing game, but those same items are shockingly easy to grow in containers. They bounce back after you cut them, they taste better, and they keep your wallet happy. Picture this. It's Tuesday night. You're tired. You want something fast. Instead of spending $25 on a quick store run, you crack the door, snip a bowl of greens, grab a handful of basil, twist off a few cherry tomatoes that are still warm from the sun, slice 1 crunchy cucumber, and boom. Dinner. No drive. No line. No guilt tray of wilted leaves hiding in the crisper. That tiny swap, done a few times a week, is the start of real savings. I also want the mindset out front because it changes everything. Start small and win early. Pick 3 easy players you eat a lot. Lettuce, basil, green onions. Plant them today. In 2 weeks you're cutting your first salad. In 3, you're pinching basil, and it smells like a whole restaurant. In 4, you're snipping onions over eggs and feeling like a chef. Those quick wins push you forward. Then you add tomatoes, then cucumbers, then a pepper plant. Each one stacks more flavor and more savings. And yes, the numbers are real. Before growing I spent $30–45 a week on just the basics I listed, plus random backup runs that turned $10 into $35 because snacks jumped in the cart. After growing, my weekly spend dropped hard, fewer store trips, no waste, no sad herbs. It all added up to more than $300 saved in good growing months. That's not a theory, that's my card statement. So if high prices are squeezing you, and you still want your food to taste amazing, this is your move. I'm going to show you what I planted, how I kept it alive with almost no time, what to do when things go wrong, and the simple routine that makes the savings automatic. Stay with me, because once this clicks, you'll never look at a $6 box of greens the same way again. I gave myself a dare. Grow the stuff I buy most and see if I can slash the bill fast. I picked a short list I eat all the time. Lettuce, arugula, basil, cilantro, green onions, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, and 1 bell pepper plant. That's it, no giant plan. Just the high-use items that drain my wallet. I laid it out on a sticky note. Quick wins up front, slower crops in the back. If a plant didn't earn its spot on my plate 2 to 3 times a week, it didn't make the cut. Space was tight, so I worked with what I had. 3 5-gallon buckets for tomatoes and peppers, 1 long planter for lettuce and arugula, 1 medium pot for basil and another for cilantro. A leftover storage bin became my cucumber pot with a simple string trellis tied to a hook. I drilled holes in the bottoms with a nail and a hammer. No fancy tools. Good potting mix mattered more than anything. I filled the containers, pressed the soil down gently, and watered until it ran out the bottom. Done. Seeds or seedlings? If you want speed, seedlings are great for tomatoes and peppers. For greens and herbs, seeds win on cost and ease. A packet of lettuce seeds costs less than a coffee and feeds you for months. I planted lettuce and arugula thick like I was salting food. In 2 weeks I ate the extras as baby greens and left the strongest to grow. For basil and cilantro, I sprinkled a light layer, covered with a thin dusting of soil, and watered with a slow pour so the seeds didn't wash away. I kept the routine simple so I wouldn't quit. Sunday was start day. I poked holes, dropped seeds, labeled with tape and a marker. Wednesday was move day. If a seedling looked strong and crowded, I gave it its own spot. Saturday was harvest day. I snipped outer lettuce leaves and a few basil stems, never stripping a plant bare. Daily care took 2 minutes. Feel the soil, water if dry to the first knuckle, pinch basil flowers so it keeps making leaves, and check for bugs under leaves. Costs were honest and upfront. First month, I spent around $60 on buckets, planters, soil, and seeds. Month 2, I added a bag of soil and 1 more planter, about $35. After that, costs fell off a cliff, seeds last. Soil can be topped off. I didn't buy gadgets. A wooden spoon marked my rows, a cup worked as a scoop. Kitchen shears became my harvest tool. I chose crops that punch above their weight. Lettuce and arugula are cut and come again, so you harvest many times. Basil is a flavor machine and pricey at the store, so it pays for itself fast. Cilantro can be fickle in heat, so I reseeded weekly to always have fresh bunches. Green onions regrow from scraps. I rooted the white ends in water for a few days, then planted them. Cherry tomatoes take longer but rain fruit once they start. Cucumbers climb, take little floor space, and deliver crunchy wins. Bell peppers are slower, but each pepper replaces a pricey store-buy. I wasn't trying to become a gardener, I was trying to solve a money problem. That mindset kept me focused. I didn't chase rare varieties. I didn't build raised beds. I picked plants that made dinners easier and cheaper. When in doubt, I asked one question: will I eat this twice this week? If yes, it got a pot. If not, it waited. That filter kept the plan lean, the work light, and the results fast. Lettuce was my first quick win. I planted loose-leaf mixes so I could snip what I needed and let the rest keep growing. The trick that changed everything was outside leaves only. I'd cut a bowlful from the edges, leave the center alone, and the plant would refill like a salad ATM. In 2 weeks, I had enough greens to skip the store. Arugula came next and moved fast. That peppery bite made simple meals feel special. I'd toss a handful on hot pizza or into warm pasta, and it tasted like I planned dinner even when I didn't. Basil turned into my all-star. I used to buy sad clamshells that died in a day. Now I pinch the top pair of leaves every time the stem makes a little T. That tiny move tells the plant to branch. More branches, more leaves, more flavor. I made pesto, froze it in ice trays, and dropped a cube into hot noodles whenever I was hungry. Cilantro was pickier, so I reseeded weekly. Some plants bolted in heat, but because I staggered new seeds, I always had a fresh bunch coming up. When it tried to flower, I snipped the shoots and kept using the lower leaves. Green onions were the easiest money saver. I stuck the root ends of a store bunch in water, moved them to soil after a few days, and they just kept coming back. I'd step outside, snip what I needed, and watch the stubs regrow like magic. Tomatoes took patience, but when the cherry tomatoes started, they did not stop. Warm, sweet, and almost candy-like, way better than store ones. I fed the plant when flowers showed, watered deep every few days, and let the sun do most of the work. Cucumbers climbed a string trellis, and surprised me with how many they made. I picked them small for crunch, and when I had too many, I made quick pickles with vinegar, salt, and a little sugar. Bell peppers were slow and steady. Each one felt like a prize. I did mess up. At first I overwatered. Leaves drooped and I thought, more water. Wrong. Now I use the finger test. If the soil feels dry to the first knuckle, I water. If not, I wait. I also crowded seedlings because I didn't want to thin them. They sulked. When I finally gave them space, mein Shearer, angered spains, they snapped back. Sun taught me a lot too. Tomatoes and peppers want the brightest spot. Lettuce likes cooler parts of the day, so I pushed those pots into afternoon shade when it was blazing. If you have more shade than sun, lean into leafy greens and herbs. They're more forgiving. Pests showed up, but it wasn't a horror movie. I found tiny bugs under leaves, mixed a drop of dish soap in water, misted, and wiped them off. 2 minutes of checking while I watered kept problems small. Airflow mattered. I spaced pots so air could move and didn't pack them shoulder to shoulder. The best part was how it changed my nights. I stopped doing quick store runs that became $30. I built simple meals around what was ready. Rice bowls with cucumbers and cilantro, eggs with tomatoes and green onions, pasta with basil and arugula. I picked only what I needed so nothing rotted in the fridge. Less waste, better taste, real savings. Once the plants hit their stride, the kitchen felt stocked all the time and most of it was growing a few feet from the door. Here's where the money part really hits. After the first setup month, my weekly bill started sliding down without me trying very hard. I wasn't buying 2 boxes of salad, a bag of spinach, 2 clamshells of tomatoes, a bunch of herbs, and a couple peppers every week. I was grabbing onions, garlic, lemons, and a few basics, and that was it. The garden covered the fresh stuff I used all the time. I tracked it for a few weeks just to be sure. I was saving around $40 to $50 every week on produce. Plus, I killed the quick store runs that always turned into $30. That's how the number jumps to $300 a month in good growing months. The savings felt steady, not random. It was like getting a quiet raise. The food got better too. When the greens are crisp and the herbs are strong, simple meals taste like a win. A plain omelet with chopped tomatoes and green onions? Great. Pasta with a spoon of pesto and a handful of arugula? Done. Rice bowls with cucumber, peppers, cilantro and a fried egg on top? I could eat that 5 nights in a row. When your kitchen is stocked with fresh parts, you don't reach for takeout. You cook fast and eat well. That saves even more. The routine that keeps this going is stupid simple. Sunday I start a few seeds. Wednesday I move strong seedlings into open spots. Saturday I harvest. Every day I check soil with a finger, water if it's dry, and pinch basil flowers. 2 minutes, tops. I keep scissors on a hook by the door so I never hunt for them. If a plant looks tired, I give it a little plant food, tuck the soil, and move it to a sunnier spot. If it bolts or gets weird, I don't stress. I pull it and replant. Seeds are cheap. Momentum matters more than perfection. If you're worried about seasons, here's the move. Lean into greens and herbs when it's cooler. Switch to tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers when it's warm. Keep green onions rolling all year by replanting scraps. Arugula and lettuce can handle cooler nights. Basil loves heat. You don't need a chart on the wall, just pay attention to what looks happy and repeat it. If sun is limited, grow more lettuce, arugula, mint, parsley, and cilantro. If you've got full sun, put tomatoes and peppers front row. A quick tip on waste: pick what you need, not what looks ready. If the lettuce is bursting, make big salads for 2 days. If basil is wild, make pesto and freeze it in ice trays. If cucumbers are piling up, slice and soak them with vinegar, salt, and a pinch of sugar for quick pickles. None of this takes more than 10 minutes, and it keeps food out of the trash. So, here's your action plan. Today, grab a bag of potting mix, 2 medium planters, 1 big bucket, and seeds for lettuce mix, basil, and green onions. Plant them tonight. In 2 weeks, take your first cut of lettuce. In 3, start pinching basil. In 4, snip onions over breakfast. Next month, add cherry tomatoes and a cucumber with a simple string to climb. That's your ramp to real savings and better meals. Do it once, feel the win, and you won't go back.